When you step into some of the most mysterious and dangerous forests in the world, like the Amazon, the Everglades swamps in Florida, the mountain jungles of Indonesia, or isolated cave regions in Mexico, there are moments when people do not run from wild animals, but from something that should not exist there. These videos were sent directly to Mystery Files, capturing scenes of a lion-like creature with goat horns and a snake tail, a three-headed being stepping out of a cave, or shapes that appear for only a few seconds before vanishing. Some people packed up their camps and fled in the middle of the night, and some clips were reduced to audio only after a few hours.
Watch until the end of this video to find out what made them afraid to look a second time.
This footage was recorded as a researcher moved through tangled root systems deep in the Amazon rainforest, where sunlight barely reaches the ground. Everything felt normal until something slowly slid into view. It was a snake, but unlike any species ever documented. It moved close to the ground, slow and deliberate, as if searching for something among the roots, and then the detail that made the entire scene feel wrong appeared. On its head were long, clearly formed horns, not bumps or minor deformities. The snake suddenly stopped, raised the front of its body, and held a posture that felt almost regal, exactly like a creature realizing it was being watched. It did not appear frightened. Instead, it felt as if it was assessing the cameraman. In biology, mutations can happen, but symmetrical structures like this are rarely random. And when it slid away and disappeared into the forest floor, the real question was not what it was, but how many similar things the Amazon is still hiding.
This video begins in a very familiar way. Dense jungle, tall trees, thick canopy, insects filling the air with sound.
But within seconds, that familiarity disappears completely. An explorer pushing deep into an almost pathless forest encounters something he cannot even describe with words. The creature appears standing upright, moving slowly, with a silhouette that instantly reminds viewers of a nightmare or a science fiction film. When the video was posted, I noticed how divided the reactions were. Some compared it to a mutated shoebill bird walking on two legs. Others claimed it was an undocumented biological anomaly. The problem is that none of these explanations fully work. The creature does not behave like a predator, and it does not move like a person in a costume. What stood out to me was how it stood still for several moments, almost as if it was watching the cameraman instead. In nature, that kind of behavior usually appears only in animals with high awareness or those accustomed to humans.
And that is when the disturbing question appears. If this is extreme evolution, why has it left no trace? And if it is not, then what did we just see?
This footage gave me chills, not because the image was clear, but because the feeling of being watched came through the screen. A boy is walking along a remote mountain trail, surrounded by rocks and low vegetation. The space is open, yet completely isolated. At first, there are only deep, growling sounds echoing around him, easy to mistake for wildlife. But the moment the camera catches movement behind him, everything changes. When he turns around, a massive shape appears among the rocky terrain. Its body is enormous, dark in color, and unlike any familiar animal. Some people even said it looked like a real-life Hulk because of its size and posture. What caught my attention was the speed. The creature moved far too fast for something that large, as if it was deliberately closing the distance rather than just passing by. In biology, larger animals require far more energy to move quickly, so sudden bursts of speed like this are extremely rare. When sunlight suddenly breaks through the clouds and lights up the trail, the boy runs and narrowly escapes.
I cannot help but wonder, if that light had not appeared at that exact moment, would this story have ended the same way?
When people mention the Everglades, they think of swamps, alligators, and waterways where outsiders can easily get lost. The man who filmed this video was a local, used to entering the wetlands alone, so at first nothing felt strange. That day, he paddled a small boat to check his fish traps and casually turned on his camera to record the surroundings. It was late afternoon. The light was fading, the water was murky, and everything was so quiet that he could hear only the soft splash of his paddle. When he reached a shallow section, he noticed something moving ahead.
At first, he assumed it was an alligator, which is common in the Everglades. But the movement was wrong.
It was not crawling or swimming. It was walking, step by step, with water reaching almost to its thighs. Its arms hung low, its back slightly hunched, and its movement was slow but solid. Later, he said there was a powerful smell, sharp and foul, unlike mud or dead fish, and it appeared very suddenly. What made him retreat was the moment the creature stopped and tilted its body slightly, as if listening. He felt it knew someone was nearby, even though it never turned its head. He did not start the engine or turn the boat sharply. He backed away slowly to avoid making noise. Seconds later, the creature stepped into thick reeds and vanished. He shut off the camera, turned the boat, and left immediately without checking any other traps.
There was no chase, no dramatic climax, but this quiet encounter matches countless Everglades stories. You see it, and you leave. Because some things are best not stayed near.
Watch this video carefully, because even people who have lived in Everglades National Park for decades say they have never seen anything like this. The footage was sent to us, and its authenticity has not yet been confirmed. It began when a familiar swamp area was suddenly sealed off. Visitors were told to step back, motorboats shut down their engines, and helicopters appeared overhead.
At the time, many assumed it was just a massive alligator or some kind of accident. But when the creature slowly emerged from the murky water, the entire area fell silent.
A giant alligator snapping turtle rose halfway out of the mud, estimated at around 24 feet long and nearly 8 tons in weight. Its shell was not smooth like a normal turtle's, but thick, rough, and jagged, resembling an ancient stone formation that had rested underwater for decades. When it opened its mouth, its jaw revealed a bite force powerful enough to crush bone. The person filming said that every time the turtle moved, the surrounding water trembled slightly, as if something extremely heavy had just awakened after a long sleep at the bottom of the swamp. What made the incident more unsettling is that alligator snapping turtles are known for extreme longevity, with some recorded living over 100 years. They often remain motionless for hours or even days, camouflaged like a submerged log. Biologists explain that they possess one of the strongest bite forces among freshwater reptiles. They rarely surface, so the public appearance of such a massive individual suggests environmental disruption or unusual water level changes. In the video, park rangers keep a wide distance. One person in the water observes from far away without making contact. No capture attempt is made, because with a creature of that size, a single mistake could endanger both humans and the animal.
Eventually, the turtle slowly sinks back down, leaving mud rising to the surface, and a clear sense that the Everglades still hides ancient creatures far larger than we believe we fully understand. This video was sent directly by a group of hikers, along with a short message. This is the closest thing to what we actually saw.
According to them, the footage closely recreates their real experience during a multi-day trek through a humid rainforest in the Cascade Range of Washington State, where fog is so thick that daytime feels like twilight. The story begins as the group of 4 sets up camp near a dry stream bed. The person closest to the camera is called Evan, who stayed behind to check tracks. As Evan bent down to adjust his backpack, he heard a very soft sound ahead. It did not sound like an animal running, but like steady footsteps. When he looked up, he saw a tall, thin figure standing among the trees. It had very long legs, a slender body, and a pale purple head, unlike any animal he had ever seen. One of the figures suddenly opened a structure resembling a glowing blue fan, spreading from its head or upper back. The light was not bright, but it stood out clearly in the fog, like a warning signal. Evan said no one in the group spoke. They did not run. They slowly backed away, feeling almost hypnotized, maintaining formation, never taking their eyes off the figures. After about a minute, the creatures turned and walked deeper into the forest, disappearing without leaving clear traces.
What do you think? Is this clearly fiction, or does the deep forest still hold mysteries far beyond human imagination? Subscribe to the channel before encountering creatures even more disturbing. I came across this video by chance and immediately thought it had to be fake. There was no way a creature like this could exist.
According to the uploader, the video was recorded by a man named Lucas during a solo wildlife photography trip in a remote grassland area. He separated from his group to find a new angle. Lucas said that while filming, the creature appears very low to the ground, blending with the grass. Its arms support its weight, shoulder and arm muscles clearly visible, moving slowly but with control. When it lifts its head, the face is revealed, a disturbingly human-like face. Its eyes are wide open, staring directly toward the camera. Its mouth curves into something resembling a smile, but without emotion. Lucas said that when he zoomed in, he realized the creature was maintaining a fixed distance from him, moving parallel, neither approaching nor retreating.
Some believe it is a deformed primate. Others think it is a person in a costume. Lucas insists he heard no footsteps other than his own. This could be a staged video, or it could be proof that in remote places, creatures like this still exist.
Now we come to a headless creature, captured in a video recorded by Carlos Mendez, a local boat operator on the Tapajos River, while transporting 2 tourists deep into the Amazon. It was late in the rainy season. The river was muddy and fast-moving. The creature surfaced, suddenly midstream. No head was visible, only a large, smooth body arching upward before slowly sinking again. When it pressed against the riverbed to rise further, the entire boat felt a faint vibration, as if something extremely heavy had moved beneath them. The controversy does not stop with the image. The next day, both tourists claimed the original video vanished from their phones. The folder remained, but only audio played, with a blank screen. Technicians later said the file was corrupted during recording. Strangely, only this video was affected. All other clips from the trip were intact. Carlos himself was not questioned, as he did not carry a personal camera, and the circulating footage was actually a copy he had already sent to a nature-sharing account.
Scientifically, some suggest a severe deformity in a large river animal or freshwater reptile misinterpreted by angle. Others suspect unnatural hybridization or long-term biological alteration from pollution, as the body structure appears too stable to be random. The creature does not attack or flee. It appears, then disappears.
Have you ever heard of the Kappa from Japanese folklore? It is a river-dwelling creature, half human, half turtle, with a dish-like hollow on its head that always holds water. It is known for appearing briefly before vanishing. Traditional stories say Kappa sit by the water, watching humans, and leap into the river the moment they are noticed.
What is unsettling is how closely that description matches a modern video.
The clip was recorded by Ethan Miller, a man from West Virginia, while walking alone along a remote stream in the Appalachian Mountains. Ethan said he stopped to rest by the water and felt something watching him. When he raised his phone, he saw a creature crawling low along the stream bank, hands gripping mud, upper body emerging from the water. In the frame, its face is clearly visible. Smooth, pale skin, wide eyes, a short beak-like mouth, and a distinct hollow on top of its head, matching the Kappa description exactly. The creature does not attack or growl. It simply stares for a few seconds. When Ethan accidentally snapped a branch underfoot, the creature startled and dove straight into the water. In that moment, the camera caught its eyes glowing beneath the surface before everything went silent. This could be a deformed animal or a staged clip. But the unsettling question remains.
Why does a creature described in Japanese folklore centuries ago match a video filmed at a remote stream on the other side of the world?
This video was recorded by Arif Rahman, a local man hiking alone through an isolated hill region in eastern Indonesia, far from tourist areas and rarely visited. At first, Arif stood on a ridge filming a rocky path below, thinking he was seeing a stray lion or an abandoned exotic animal. Everything changed when he zoomed in.
At closer range, the image became shockingly clear. The creature did not just have the body and movement of a lion.
Two curved, goat-like horns grew directly from its back, not attached artificially. Its tail was thick and raised high, and when it moved, the end flared like a cobra's hood, with the same expanded neck shape. The combination immediately made Arif think of a hybrid creature that should not exist in the natural animal kingdom. What truly terrified him was when the creature stopped in the middle of the path and turned its head toward the ridge where he stood. It did not roar or run. It simply stood still for a few seconds, as if pinpointing his position. Arif said his hands began shaking and he stopped filming. He turned and ran, leaving the trail and cutting through dense brush to avoid being seen again. The area is far from villages, with no farms, no wildlife facilities, and no nearby zoos. Viewers questioned how a staged animal or hybrid pet could appear in such isolation. Some linked it to the chimera of mythology, a creature combining lion, goat, and snake.
True or not, Arif says he never returned, and this video is the only thing left from the moment he believes he saw something that should not exist.
The person who recorded this video is Luis Ortega, an amateur wildlife photographer exploring a dry, rocky region completely separated from populated areas in southern Mexico. The area contains many small caves, usually home only to bats or wild animals.
The incident began when Luis shined his flashlight into the mouth of a dark cave. At first, he thought he saw a wild dog standing inside. Then, within a second, 3 faces appeared at once.
The creature stepped half a pace out of the cave, revealing a single body with 3 heads growing from the same neck, arranged closely and moving together. One head opened its mouth and let out a low growl, while the other 2 stared directly at the camera, eyes wide and synchronized. Luis said he did not scream because his mind had not yet processed what he was seeing. The creature's front legs were long, claws gripping the rocky ground. When it lifted one leg, the entire body shifted, confirming the 3 heads controlled a single body. Terrified, Luis ran back to the nearest town to report it to local conservation authorities. The location was logged as a remote rocky hill region in northern Mexico. 2 hours later, Luis returned with 2 rangers and an environmental officer, carrying powerful lights and recording equipment. When they reached the cave, there was no sign of the creature. One ranger suggested Luis may have misinterpreted shapes in low light, or that the creature had moved deeper into an underground cave system. But after checking every tunnel, none were wide enough for a body of that size to pass quickly.
After that day, Luis never returned. The video was posted days later and sparked intense debate. Some claim it is special effects, others link it to Cerberus from mythology. There is something dangerous about entering a forest looking for crocodiles. You believe you already know what you are seeing. The group in this video thought the same.
In 2023, they pushed deep into the rainforest searching for the largest crocodile ever recorded. From a distance, the shape looked exactly like a crocodile resting by the water. The problem began as they closed the distance. The camera zoomed in and details started to feel wrong. The tail was not smooth, but thick and textured, like aged leather. The back was not flat, but lined with rigid fins. Most unsettling were the teeth, uneven and serrated, shaped more like cutting tools than natural jaws. I noticed the entire group freeze, unwilling to move closer. In nature, when an animal does not match any known data, that is the most dangerous moment. Before they could react, the creature slowly slid into the water without making a splash and disappeared into the jungle.
If this is a mutation, it has existed long enough to perfect its form. If not, how long has it been there?
Not every strange creature appears as a threat. During a deep Amazon expedition, the camera captures a family of the world's largest rodents moving calmly through dense vegetation. The first shock is their size, nearly as large as house cats, with solid bodies and heavy but controlled steps. I noticed how they moved as a group, without panic or haste, as if the forest had always been their territory. They watched their surroundings, gathered food, and used subtle movements to communicate. In ecology, such behavior appears only in species with defined social structure. It made me reconsider. These animals are not hiding because they fear humans, but because humans rarely enter their domain.
And when a rodent reaches that size, it often plays a major role in seed dispersal, terrain shaping, and forest balance. This may not be a new mystery, but something that has existed for a very long time, simply unseen.
Finally, footage from above always feels different. You are no longer inside the forest, but looking down, as if allowed to see what humans normally never do. In 2016, a military drone surveying the Amazon captured footage that experts replayed repeatedly. Beneath the dense canopy, a massive creature moved. It did not run or hide. It walked slowly, with clear direction, pushing through vegetation step by step. What stood out to me was its skin. When the drone's light hit it, the surface reacted strangely, not just reflecting light, but shifting tone, almost like a biological response. In research, this is often linked to camouflage or light adaptation. The drone tracked the creature for several minutes, long enough to confirm this was not random wandering. Experts later suggested this was not just an unknown species, but proof that the Amazon still contains areas isolated enough to hide large creatures for centuries. And if a drone captured this by chance, how many others have never entered the lens?
And now, it is your turn. Do you think the creatures seen in these videos are natural mutations, undiscovered species, or simply elaborate hoaxes? Leave your theory in the comments, because you might notice a detail that everyone else missed. And do not forget to subscribe to Mystery Files, because the next pieces of footage sent to us are even stranger and far harder to explain.